Here's a Beyond the Pitch podcast quick hit from the WVSA Digital Network.
Some other things that really kind of complicate it are many of us don't know that actually a lot of the suicides, about half of the suicide attempts and deaths that we actually see are not related to diagnosed mental disorders. So there are a lot of people out there who are experiencing suicidal ideation that don't necessarily have diagnosable mental health disorders. So it's not always related to depression or to bipolar disorder or some of those other things that we've typically really thought about. When we look specifically at collegiate athletics, we know that about 30% of college athletes say that they're overwhelmed and they're anxious and they're kind of dealing with a lot of very big things, but only about 10% actually end up seeking services compared to about 30% in the general population. So we do see less help-seeking behaviors in athletic populations than we tend to see in more general populations. It is, I think, important to note that between the ages of about 10 and 25, suicide is the second leading cause of death with our youth in America, and that is behind accidental death. So it's definitely an epidemic that we are dealing with here in the U.S. and something that needs more attention. I think other things maybe to note are that particularly in the high school population, about 20 to 25% of students have said, yes, I've thought about suicide. I have thought about killing myself. And about 10% have actually attempted it. So those numbers are quite high and reflective of the fact that it is the second leading cause of death. And it's important to note as well that when we look at completions of suicide, very often there was an earlier attempt or significant warning signs that just maybe weren't addressed in a way that was necessarily helpful. And about that kind of 3-month period after an attempt is kind of one of those vital periods where there's a massive increase in risk. I think oftentimes we go, oh, well, they tried it and they recovered and, that must have been the shock to their system and everything is fine, when actually quite the opposite is usually true.